got the camera working and we're ready to talk about video games. So we're here at EA, which is one of my favorite booths at Gamescom, and we're talking about Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, which is a beautiful open-world MMO type RPG for console and PC, yes?
Correct, yes. Single-player RPG.
Yeah. So one thing with MMO, RPG, single-player, one thing they all need is story.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So at the beginning of the story, you find out that your character has died. So you wake up in a pile of corpses. And one of the things that we didn't want to do is we didn't want to throw you as the player into this world where you have to be the hero from second one, where everything is on fire and you're right in there and you need to all put it out. It's always kind of disconcerting when that happens. So you start out with a very personal story. How did I die? Who killed me? How in the hell was I resurrected? So in exploring that personal story about what happened, how you died, what this well of souls was that brought you back to life, and what the purpose, the motivation of bringing you back to life was, you then discover this world story that's going on. You discover the war that's going on between this evil king, Gadflow, and the rest of Amalur. So it's kind of a method of discovery throughout the world that you advance through this story. You figure out how you died, what the purpose was, the purpose of you being brought back to life, and really you discover that whole thing as you go along.
Now, the character itself, now everyone, normally when you play an RPG, you've got to pick a class. You've got to be a warrior or a paladin or something like that. Now, you guys are doing something a little bit different with that, something a bit more open. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So we looked at other games and we saw these problems where a player would choose a class before they ever played the game at all. So I would choose a warrior. I may find out 15 hours later, I don't like a warrior. I don't want to go back and do all those 15 hours again. So what we did is, every time you level up, we assign you ability points. And there are over 60 abilities through the game that you get to assign these points to. And they're in the finesse tree, which is kind of like a rogue-like tree, sorcery, and might. Now, you can mix and match these at your will. You just pick stuff that you want, whether you want a better two-handed sword skill, whether you want a flame spell or a storm bolt spell, whether you want stealth. You know, you get to pick and mix and match these. Then the game will look at the decisions that you've made, and it will unlock these destiny cards. And these destiny cards are essentially your class. So say you start out going down the line of a pure mage. You may unlock the sage or the archmage. If you then add a bunch of warrior skills to it, you can unlock the battle mage or the spell sword. You add a bunch of finesse skills on top of that, and you may unlock the jack of all trades. Now, what these things do is they give you something to call yourself, a class name, but they also change the way that you play. So when, for example, your dodge as a warrior has collision, its purpose is to get you in close to your enemies. As a mage, you don't want to be in close to your enemies. You're wearing cloth, you know, you're going to get your butt kicked. So you have a teleport instead, and your teleport will actually go through enemies. Now, if you invest some points in the rogue tree and say the poison skills, you may then transform your teleport skill into a teleport that applies a damage over time effect of poison to an enemy that you teleport through. So it's mixing and matching those abilities and those skills, really letting you carve out that place of a character that you want, that style that you want to play.
Now, open world's a really big buzzword at the moment for RPGs, and we want to talk a little bit about like how this is open world. Now, last year at EA, I was seeing a rather large EA fantasy RPG called Dragon Age 2, and they had one or two dungeons that were seen over and over again and made people a little bit mad. But you guys have like 120 dungeons plus, and they're always different.
Yes.
I mean, talk about all that.
Yeah, we're a little bit insane. We have built an immense amount of content for this game. We've seen that kind of decline in that hours of gameplay and the amount of experience you can have, and we don't really believe in that. We believe in over-indexing on the value of a game. You're spending a lot of money. $60 is a lot of money. So we're fine giving the player 400 hours of gameplay. All of our dungeons are handcrafted. We don't take a single dungeon and rotate it to the right and rotate it to the left and call it new. Every single one is built by our dungeon designers. They have unique art, they have unique encounters in them, unique loot within them. So It's really, there's a massive amount of content in this game, and it's just, we feel that the type of player that we want to cater towards, that open world RPG player, they expect that content, and frankly, they deserve that content. So
We'd like to hear.
We're crazy enough to give it to them.
Perfect. One final thing for everybody watching: when can we expect to get our hands on the game? When can we expect to own it?
So February 10th in Europe, February 7th in the US. You know those crazy ship dates that they have.
I thought you said us first, so I thought we were going to get it first.
And that's for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time and your patience with all our technical problems. Destructoid, keep watching the front page.